Bear.
And we are the Olsen twins.
Car rides with Cher Bear and V Rich.
Alright, don't try to label it.
Okay.
So, right now, we're driving to Atlanta because I have a little something going on.
It's just a rehearsal for a film.
A little rehearsal for this little film I'm doing. So stay tuned for that. And we're just going to talk about some thoughts, give our insight, you know, the regular schmegular.
Like we always do this time.
I go for mine, I got the birds up to the sky. What you know about old Kanye?
Oh, don't. Please don't.
What
Please
you know
don't.
about old
Don't do me.
Alright. So the first thing that we want to talk about is, how do you know if you truly know someone?
How do you know if you truly know? I don't think people actually know themselves. For you to truly know, I mean, how do you truly know someone is being the most authentic version, most genuine version of themselves? I mean, their actions. Words, people say a lot of things, but it really boils down to their actions.
Yeah.
And
you gotta walk the walk.
Yeah, you can't just talk the talk. You gotta walk the walk too. And for your generation, it's just so tough. I don't think many of the kids. Well, y'all are what, 19, 20, like most of you not even 21 yet. But I don't think everybody has even figured out who they want to be in this life, what they want their life to represent. And so it's very hard to be your authentic self. And then especially if you shun your parents, like whatever wisdom you
have around you.
Yeah, so it's, but I would have to say actions.
And I also think how you talked about talking the talk, walking the walk, because now we have platforms where talk is more important now. Like we have more outlets for talk to matter, whereas maybe before it was like, no, your words and your actions kind of have to line up. Nowadays, because we have a platform where we can just only present what we're talking about and not what we're actually doing, or make it look like we're actually doing something, that kind of furthers the...
And people play nice very well on social media. But they
play nice, they play woke.
They play woke, nice, beautiful, confident. All those things. And reality is that life couldn't be any further from the truth.
Yeah.
So I pray for y'all all the time, because it's like, I mean, and I think every parent, every generation, I know my parents probably said, in some ways we had it better, some ways we had it worse. But for you guys, it's like everything that we went through times 1,000.
Yeah.
And my heart is just goes out for your generation. Because to get through all the noise and all the fakery and all the hate and all just the negativity that comes with social media, to find love, joy, peace, to actually really live your life for God, put God first. I mean, how many kids, I'm not judging, knocking nobody, but all of your little friends and stuff with that Bible verse in their bio, I'm like, you ain't living by that. From what I can see,
you're not. But my thing with like the Bible verses and like the inspirational, motivational quotes, and we've talked about this before. It's nothing wrong with spreading positivity, but just make sure you're doing it in real life as well, because a lot of times you get a false sense of completion when you posted a positive quote on Instagram or a Bible verse, like, I did my spiritual part today, like I'm growing spiritually because I posted a quote on Instagram, but I'm doing nothing in real life to even work towards whatever I posted that day. Like, you know what I mean? And that's not to say like you always have to be doing exactly what you post and like, you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with trying to help other people, but make sure you're helping yourself in real life as well, or at least attempting to move in that direction. Like, you're on the path of righteousness. Don't just post like you are and then go do exactly what you've been doing that has left you in like a dark place. You know what I mean? You're not doing anything to move towards the light, but you feel like you are because you're posting it on social media and you're getting that validation of, I'm doing my part in society, I'm growing as a person. And no, you're growing on social media, you're not growing as a person in real life. So,
yeah, if you gonna post a scripture or something positive, actually dig deeper, right? It's all sorts of daily devotionals. Now listen, it's a start. I'm not judging nobody at all. It's a start, and to just know that you know where your help comes from is the beginning. But it's only the beginning. If you're going to have a meaningful life full of joy and peace, then you really need God, especially this generation, because I mean the foolery and foolishness that y'all deal with on a regular basis just blows my mind sometimes. And you know, we think things are this world is not that complicated. The things that y'all do or to one another, and it's not that complicated. You know, all you literally got to do is love one another, and love means really love. Sometimes love means checking your friends and saying, hey, this is not okay. Just being honest. If you really love each other, then things aren't as complicated as I think people make them. And it's not just, I shouldn't just keep harping on your generation, because it's grown people my age, it's people older, it's people that just don't love themselves. So how the hell can they love you?
And that's what I'm saying. What people don't realize, and to get back to the question of how to know if you truly know somebody, I think time and self-awareness are key.
Yes.
Because one, like, yes, it could just be time, but as we know, I know 45-year-olds, because we talk about this a lot, I have a problem with confrontation, like, because it makes me really uncomfortable, so I will avoid it at all costs. And what I've realized is that doesn't just change because of time or because you get older. You have to make that conscious decision, that conscious choice to be like, you know what, eventually I'm gonna have a situation that's gonna make me uncomfortable, so I might as well go ahead and start practicing how I'll act when faced with confrontation. You know what I mean? But people wake up 40 years old and still running away from confrontation because you never made the choice to be like, this is something that I'm gonna have to learn to do, so I might as well go ahead and start practicing now. But it's a choice, it starts with you, bro. It's not just gonna happen with time.
Hold on, baby. And confrontation is healthy.
Yes.
It's how you grow. There is no relationship that you're ever going to be in where you don't have roadblocks and hurdles and disagreements and things that you have to talk through and get through. We automatically think that confrontation
has to be negative. Yes.
And it's not. You can't get through or overcome anything if you don't speak up. It's in marriage, it's in friendship, it's in work relationships, it's literally in every relationship that you will have for the rest of your life. And if you choose to keep your mouth shut and just let people walk all over you, or not really say anything and just let things always go with the flow, you are going to live a miserable life and be a miserable human being. You have to. And it's not, speaking up, it doesn't mean it has to be bad. Like, hey,
it's a way to do it.
Yes.
But you have to practice makes progress. So if you never practice it and have never dealt with confrontation because you've been running from it for so long, once it's time to actually run that race, you're gonna be like, I don't even know what to do, and we'll lose because you haven't practiced it.
Yeah, and sometimes, like, you know, sometimes certain people in situations, like, I will, and it's a case by case thing.
Yeah.
But there are certain times where I'm just like, it's not worth my energy.
Yes.
Right? But that's generally speaking with someone that I don't really, I don't really care about whether I have a lasting relationship with them or not. And the reality is, at my age, you're not gonna waste my time.
Period.
So if it's not worth it to me, you're not somebody I want in my life, then, and I see you really doing something that's not okay or whatever, as long as as long as I don't really see it affecting other people too, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. Right, until it affects me, I'll keep my mouth shut because I mind my business.
And I think a lot of people, like, just how it is with like diets or whatever the case may be, bro, you have to start small. You can't just one day go from eating sweets and doing all this extra stuff to the next day being like, you know what, I'm gonna work out for 5 hours a day and only eat green vegetables. You know what I mean? It's a process. So with Confrontation, and this is something I literally just did, like even at the nail shop when the lady was doing my nails and I was just like, hey, like, actually I don't like that color, like, you know what I mean? But it was a time where it was no way I would ever tell the nail lady I didn't like the shape, I didn't like the color, I didn't like anything, you know what I mean?
And you know that burns me, especially, and that's what I'm saying. So everything, even in a service, I wasn't even thinking about, you're paying. If you're paying, you have the right to say, and it's still do it in a respectful way.
You can do it. It doesn't have to be anything, but this is why I'm saying why self-awareness is so important, because for me, the reason I didn't like confrontation is because when I've been confronted, it has been in a negative way. And I have felt very uncomfortable when people have confronted me, and I don't like making people feel uncomfortable or feel like they did a bad job on my nails or whatever the case may be. So I'm like, but for me, it's like, bro, just because you don't like the shape doesn't mean they're not a good nail artist. Exactly. It's just like, oh, okay, you didn't like the shape, let me change it. It's not that deep. It's really not. Exactly. They want to know. This is what they're getting paid to do.
Because they want you to come back.
Exactly. But if you like hate your nails and leave without saying anything and never come back, now they're wondering, dang, why did we just like lose a client? When if you would have just spoke up and been like, hey, actually I don't like the shape or I don't like the color, they could have easily fixed it, taken 5 to 10 more minutes, and it would have been like no problem. You would have left with a better result. That's the thing. This is the thing, and I'm gonna keep using the nail shop example, because if you don't learn how to deal with confrontation, you will always be leaving the nail shop with nails you don't like. You will always be leaving situations feeling like unfulfilled,
like you didn't get out of it what you were supposed to get. You'll leave relationships feeling like it's not resolved, like you're not happy with the end product, you're not happy with the overall relationship, and because you don't say that. But the thing is, with the nail shop, you never have to go back there again. When you have friendships or relationships or whatever it is, and it's something or someone that you're going to,
and stuff builds up,
and you're gonna have to continue to see them, and you don't speak up and you don't say anything, like now you got like, or what do y'all do now? Ghost. Like instead you just will ghost the MF and Nani, and it's like, how do y'all just,
and the person never knows why. Like,
didn't you say that let me tell you something, that foolishness, and I'm like, how you call somebody family, how you say you love somebody and then have a difference, and because look, most people are not intentionally hurting you. It can, some people do now, don't get me wrong, because they do, but most of the time, if some people aren't intentionally hurting you, you had a situation when you were in high school at IMG with someone that hurt you unintentionally, and I said, Vic, I was like, you cannot just not say anything. That relationship, that person matters to you. You have to say, I say, even if you decide that you don't want to be friends with that person anymore, you have to check them and say, listen, I thought we were this, and that. Like, all I ask is that you respect me the same way I respect you, and let me hear from you. I should not have to hear things from other people. You did not want to. You like, oh, they just gonna lie, da 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 da. And I said, whether they do or don't, right? You said you cared about that person.
Your character is still intact, regardless of what they do and how they respond. You did what you were supposed to do to make sure you're straight.
And you went to that person and said, wow.